Hi,
Hello?
everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe we should. Oh, I can't do it now.
Can't do
Hello,
what?
I can't. I was going to try a British accent, but
Hello, everyone.
I
hello.
don't know if I can do it.
I
Hello.
don't think I could do it on command.
Yeah, I
No,
can't
I
do
can't.
it.
Every time I try and do it on command, things on command, I just can't do it.
Is it hello?
Top of the morning to
I was
you.
about to say something like that.
Isn't it?
But that's like
Or
not
just
not the proper British, not the
Tag.
proper British. See,
Guten
I go
Tag.
like, yeah. Well, hi,
That's
Mousy.
German.
Hi, Fish Nerd. Hi, AC.
Bonjour.
Well, that's
We're just gonna
it's
keep.
across the
Let's just.
channel.
Yep.
There's just saying, "Yay!" We're like, what do we talk about? We'll talk about the feather. That's all we know to talk about. The feather.
bonjour.
Wait. What feather?
What feather? Feathergate. So remember the candle that got placed right in front of Megan at the funeral services?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
So, at the coronation, where we should probably wait until Joseanne gets here to talk about it, but there was something placed precisely in front of Harry, and it was glorious. It was glorious.
Do we have any video or pictures?
We
Do
can
we?
easily find them.
I'm pretty sure.
And I should have
Are
probably
we
done this.
prepared?
Well, I wasn't sure what we should prepare for, but we will get a picture of this.
Yeah, no. Just a bunch of shenanigans going on.
Yes. And I just saw one of the people that I follow on Twitter saying it was confirmed that they did it on purpose.
I'm sure they did, just like they did the funeral.
The reason that this was on this person's head was it sounded like it was almost not very last minute, but sort of at least the announcement that she was doing this role was kind of an end of the line decision. So let's see if I can find a good picture here. But maybe they just announced it late. So images. Yeah, there's a good one right there. No, I don't like that one. Am I roboting?
Breathe in, no.
Okay, there we go. Why are you breathing in and out? Are you having a moment?
I'm having a gremlin moment. My gremlin has been wild today.
Okay, there's our picture.
But we'll just wait till Joseanne comes on to show it.
All
right.
Okay. You sound like me. I hope it's just my connection.
Whoa. You just went like all robot-y for a second.
Whoa.
I don't.
Whoa.
How do you say
what
whoa?
would happen if I tried
British
going wireless? Because I'm on direct connect. And this has happened in the last 2 weeks. This has never happened before. So, the link, let's drop it. Okay. Only person getting on is just saying, where is my, there it is. You hush your mouth right there, dude.
No, you cannot have any treats.
He's like, I want to come on. He's like, let me on. Drop the link for me.
Click the link.
Click the link.
Oh man.
Come get that smoke.
Why are you so mad loud right now?
Okay, behave.
No, we're gonna get in trouble.
I know.
All right,
there we're all.
Hello?
Yay, the person that knows what's going on.
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you
Hey,
guys.
just saying.
Look at you guys all regal and everything.
We didn't plan
That
it.
is true.
I'm sorry. I was in the middle, and Carly will appreciate this, but I was in the middle of making myself a coffee. So
Oh,
What
coffee
kind?
always comes first.
just a boring Keurig one, but I needed it. I've had a day. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, I bet it's delicious.
Yes. It's delicious. Yes. Yes. How's everyone?
Good. Tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, tired. It's
Yeah.
already been a week and it's only Tuesday.
I know.
Exactly. That's
Oh,
how I'm feeling. Like, it's only Tuesday. Why isn't it Friday?
I know it feels like a Friday, right?
It really
Uh,
does.
it's been crazy. Okay. So what are we talking about? There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Did you all watch it?
I did.
It was too early.
I dozed off for a couple of parts, but I tried to watch all of it.
I was trying to watch. I was trying to get some videos of it afterwards, but it was like way too early for me to wake up.
What?
Right. I was up at 3 a.m. and I know it wasn't starting for another. Okay, so we're 5 hours behind the UK, so I was up 3 hours early because I didn't want to miss anything. So it was a long day,
It was a long day.
but certainly worth it. It was
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking about?
So we were just talking about
The elephant in the room, which
the
is
elephant
Harry.
in the room, and I'll let me just show this picture, and we can talk about it.
You guys are going to be entertained today with my background.
Are we talking about Feathergate?
We are.
I'm very excited about this.
So awkward.
It was
Yeah.
fantastic. It was awesome.
Okay.
Is that
So
is that Princess Anne?
Yes. Yes.
Call her Aunt
Did it-
Feather now.
Yes. I mean, they call her the Princess Royal for something, right? I mean,
Yeah.
look at her.
That's the thing that's hilarious. Like, I know just from like reading about her, she does not care at all.
No.
no. And
No, no, no.
apparently she had kind of words with some people are saying she had an exchange with him before she sat down. So
It looked
I don't know
like
if that's
it.
true.
If you watched it, it did look like.
So she's like, "Go get the hat,
Yeah.
the one with the feather."
Yeah.
It looked more like from the look on his face because he was looking at her like, what? Like, what? What do you mean? Like, what? I
Yeah.
think she was telling him to behave. None of your shenanigans, pun intended, today, kind
Yeah.
of thing. And she's clearly the one that everybody fears in that family. You have that one aunt that you fear, stuff like that. I have a one aunt that I fear not because she's scary, because she's crazy, like just crazy. Like she just does the most messed up stuff, and it's like, oh no, just simmer down, But clearly Princess Anne is the aunt that they fear. If she says something, they listen.
Yeah.
Kind of things. But that's what it looked like for me. But
Yeah.
what makes this really, really funny is because at Queen Elizabeth's funeral, there was a candle that was obscuring the camera view of Meghan. So if you're watching the funeral, I mean, a lot of people I'm sure have seen it. So if you're watching the coverage of the funeral while it was happening in the Abbey during the service, there was this long candlestick, and the candle was a big thick like a votive candle, and it was blocking Meghan. So you could see everybody else's face but hers. Except for hers, you could only see her hat, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's really funny that this, and they were calling it Candlegate at the time, and of course now Feathergate. I just think it's hilarious. I think it's really funny.
Well, it's like, come on, you drop a book. What do you expect?
Well, I don't know.
Like, why did he even go?
I think he would have
Well,
looked petty if he didn't go. I
Yeah,
think. I don't
true.
know. What do you think, Grace?
for me, I'm hoping he went because it's still his father and it's a big deal. And you can't take it back if you weren't there, you know? At least be there for this big thing for your father and then go away, you know?
Now
Go
the
away.
question is he gonna be at Williams?
No.
No. Not
No.
unless
I don't think there's. I just don't think they're saving that relationship.
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks is because you could tell they were really close.
Yeah.
Really close at one point.
Yeah,
Even him
I
and
mean,
Kate were really close.
him and Kate were very, very close.
Yeah.
So must have been like just a knife in the back. Like, can you imagine not just like the astonishment of what did he just do, but then once that settles, of that sense of disbelief settles, then you realize, then the pain starts to set in, right? And you're thinking, oh my God, how could he do that to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only way there's any chance for reconciliation is Meghan and Harry split. Harry goes through intense therapy and rehab, and then maybe he slowly gets back in, but I don't think they'll ever be as close as they were.
No, they
Is
can never
this all
touch him.
because of Megan?
Yeah,
It's all because of Megan.
it's all because of Megan. Nobody's going to tell me differently.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Because they were fine before she came in the picture.
and then it's just been nonstop problems. And prior to the wedding, we just didn't know about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just did. I mean, there was problems from the moment. I mean, even while they were freshly engaged, and she was caught taking pictures. You cannot be at a private family gathering in Buckingham on Palace, especially on Palace grounds. But I mean, where else would you be? You're going to be at one of the castles. It's not like somebody just has a home, you know, a regular home like you and I. You're going to be in one of the castle, like one of the palaces. If you're at a family function, you're at a private family gathering. You cannot be taking pictures. That is not allowed.
Yeah.
Like you just can't do that. And then she was removed. Was this while they were engaged? Grace, tell me if I'm getting this wrong. She was removed from a gathering because of that. She was asked to leave because she was asked to stop, and she continued to take pictures. And I mean, if you're continuing to take pictures after you've been asked for stop, people are going to think, are you going to sell these pictures?
Yeah. And I believe that was while they were still engaged.
They were engaged and freshly engaged.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. Also, she was caught, Princess Charlotte was taking a nap, and Princess Charlotte couldn't have been more than a couple of years old, because how old was she at the wedding? 2 or 3?
3-ish.
3-ish,
Yeah.
right? You know, and Princess Charlotte was taking a nap, and there she is taking pictures, and she goes into Charlotte's room while she's sleeping, taking pictures of the princess while she's sleeping.
I
Why?
mean, that's creepy.
I mean, that's
That
creepy. Yeah, that's creepy in itself, you know?
I guess one thing is if the kid is like laying next to you and you're like really close, like, oh look, they're so cute when they're sleeping.
Yeah.
But to actually go into the room,
A child's room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
that's just
That's weird.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
so,
yeah.
She wanted privacy.
This family lives in such a bubble, right? I mean, there's only a handful of people that they trust,
Right.
their entire lives, right? And
rightfully so.
Yeah.
Of course. They go to certain schools because these schools consist of other aristocratic circles and children, right? And those kids become their friends, and that's why you don't see those friends, those childhood friends, those school friends writing stories or divulging secrets about them, about when they were out partying and stuff like that, because they're still normal and they, still normal kids. And they went out and did that stuff as teenagers, because those kind of kids are used to, like, you just don't talk. It's like Hollywood. Everybody sleeps with everybody, but you don't talk about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So think of it, like, to only be able to trust a handful of people your entire life, and of course one of them being your brother, because they understand your world, they're living it too, and then for that brother to turn on you like that, and to turn on you with lies,
Yeah,
is the worst part. To actually fabricate stories about you has got to be the worst part about it.
well, and I just don't understand how he wrote all of that, Hank, whatever you want to call him, and to think that it's not going to get, even though, I mean, he knows that the whole way of the firm is, never complain, never explain. But at some point, you've got to figure that these lies are going to get called out.
The problem is, by then everybody's picked their corner, right? So you're either pro William and Kate, or you're pro Harry and Meghan.
Yeah.
So even though the press is saying, you see something on Twitter, you see an article in the Daily Mail saying, no, this was not true. Actually, this is how this occurred.
Yeah.
Nobody cares at that point.
That's true.
Like, at that point, nobody cares. They know the firm is not going to come out and say anything. It would be different if Prince William came out and said, no, this is not how it went. Actually, I have the conversation taped.
Yeah.
Because there was the last year of, before they left the royal family, they just couldn't trust him. Like, that he was just being paranoid and crazy. I just don't think that they trusted him enough to have conversations with him where lawyers weren't present, a witness wasn't present. Yeah. There was one incident where something about with Meghan bullying the staff.
Yeah. And
William had called Harry and said, I need to speak to you. And he said, fine. But then he asked who else is going to be there. And he said, so-and-so, which is like their what do they call it, Grace? Equerry? Yeah. Which is like almost like their personal assistant.
Yeah.
Like their right-hand man. You saw King Charles's right-hand man. He was the younger guy in the kilt. Do you remember?
Yeah. Who could not look away from Johnny Thompson?
Like, wait.
He was so hot.
I need to see this.
Oh, you need to
put a picture up. You need to put a picture of him up.
Okay. He was the Queen's equerry for I don't know how many years, but a while.
But I mean, how old is he? I mean,
I always thought they had him in the same. I always thought they would be around the same age. But if you think about it, the one that was around with Queen Elizabeth most likely probably wasn't either retired, because she was queen forever.
He's quite young, this guy. He might have been with the Queen maybe within her last years, but he couldn't have been with her. I think he's been with Charles for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, here's a good picture of him.
So I'm pretty sure they did a lot of comparing, because it's been 71 years since the last coronation.
Yeah.
Well, 70.
Or 70. Yeah, 70.
Yeah, 70. Because I forget it was
1953. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
All right. Yeah. So 70 years, and wasn't Charles was like 4 at the time, or 3? Was he 3 or 4?
Charles was 4, I believe. Okay. Well, he's 4. He'll be 75 in November.
Okay, so maybe he was 4 turning 5 then.
Yeah, he was still 4 at the time. So while Grace is putting that up, so William there he is. He's like, I mean, that's not even I don't even think that's the greatest picture. I mean, you got to see him with his hat off. Do you have look for him arriving to the coronation before he put his whole gear on? Like, he came in a suit. He's a really good looking guy.
Yeah, he is.
And
Yeah,
at
that's
the
not the
Queen's
best picture, but
was it the Diamond Jubilee? Was her last Jubilee her Diamond Jubilee? Or was it her Platinum?
yes.
I thought it was a
No,
platinum.
platinum, I think.
Platinum
Yeah.
Jubilee. Do you remember how Harry and Meghan were sat on the other side in the second row? Well, they put him right behind them, and you could see him leaning forward. He was literally listening to anything that they were saying. Now keep in mind this was post Oprah Winfrey interview.
Oh wow.
And they placed him directly behind them, so he's in the center of the two of them, and you can see him leaning forward the entire time. He was literally listening to anything that they were saying, and probably having to reporting back to, hey, if you hear something that we need to know about. Anyway, so going back to what I was saying, William called saying, I need to speak to you. Harry says, fine, come to my whatever. And then Harry called back and said, who's going to be there? And he said, me and so, which is his right-hand man. There it is. There's the picture right there at the Platinum Jubilee, right behind Harry and Meghan.
Yeah,
that was not a coincidence. Yeah, he's really cute. He's a really handsome guy. And then as soon as William said that somebody else will be there, obviously he knew he needed to have somebody there as a witness to their conversations. Harry said, no, I'm not coming. Forget about it.
Jeez.
Ugh.
And that's their bodyguard?
No, it's not their bodyguard. It's almost like you would look at it as almost like your personal assistant that you trust the most.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they did say he was, hey, Belinda, didn't see you sneak in. He was they had him as almost like, were they calling them pages? The boys
Page boys. The page boys.
They had him on that role so he could be close to Charles almost as security. One of the commentators said that anyway.
Yeah, and also you can't expect the little boys who are like 10, 9 to be doing, like to make sure that, I think he gives the king a sense of security. Like the king has to trust this man more than he trusts almost a family member. Whoever's in that role, you have to trust them.
Yeah.
I mean, Queen had hers all her life, and these are the people that dressed her, that saw her in her underwear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are people that you have to trust. Yeah. So, I don't know.
And I was going to ask you if you knew about this before I took the first picture down, before we do our roast. The white bows that they have on all of the robes. Do you know why they have those white bows?
What the ones that tied the rope?
They're on the shoulders.
Oh, wait. Do you mean the ones that they wear? Okay, whose robe? Do you mean
they were on everybody's robe. They were on the Charles's robe. They were on Camilla's robes. They were on Anne's robes. They were on Sophie and Catherine's robes. So it appears like they must signify something.
They're on the shoulders?
Yes.
I don't know. That okay. I don't know.
Okay.
I know those are old robes. Those same robes were worn by the royal family at the Queen's coronation.
Yeah.
So those aren't new robes that were made. Those are that have been in the family.
But didn't also her dad wear it too?
Well, I think they go back probably.
That's what I think.
I'm sure I'm sure.
Yeah.
Grace, how long was her dad king for?
Not terribly long.
He wasn't long. I don't know, say he was at 36, 37 when he became king.
Yeah, let's see.
And he passed away in 52.
I think 4 years, like four. I could be wrong. 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it was not long. She was not expecting it. Let's see.
Yeah, because they were still doing like whatever Phil loved to do, like the Navy stuff and all that. But once she became queen, he had to stop doing all that.
Let's see. He reigned from 36 to 52.
Oh, so much longer than I thought.
Yeah, yeah,
And then he died
What, 16?
suddenly.
yeah.
And
About
then
16 years?
Oh yeah, I guess you know what? I should have known it was longer than that because I remember seeing her and her sister Margaret. I mean, she was what? She was about 5 or 4 at her. She was about 5, about at her dad's coronation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of them at her and Margaret, her and her sister
To
Margaret.
imagine that,
Yeah.
they lived such like a seclusive life before, like, because didn't they live off like in their own estate instead of like any palaces before he became king? If I'm wrong.
Probably.
Before
Yeah,
her father became king.
Yeah,
Well,
But-
because his brother was supposed to be
Yeah.
king, he was the heir, and then he abdicated. So what happens is kind of like how the royal family functions now. Sophie and Edward live on the grounds of the palaces. There's other houses, right? You have other castles, like mini castles.
Like Frogmore and
Yeah.
all those little.
So
Well, not
they
little.
all.
Frogmore's too small. We can't talk about that one.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Anyway,
Oh my
keep going.
god. So all the grounds like Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, all that have little smaller houses that are
Yeah.
still palace. Yeah. So I'm sure when Edward was still the heir, Elizabeth's family lived in one of those castles.
Because I thought her mom, the Queen Mother, I thought they like being away from like that.
Oh,
And-
maybe I don't know that.
Elizabeth's mom,
Yeah.
she
that's-
lived in Clarence House until she passed, and that's in the city of London. That isn't even out in
And that's
Windsor.
where
Oh.
the king resides, right? Isn't that their main home?
Yeah.
They really like Clarence House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he's going to transition into Buckingham
I
for
figured you would
security
have to.
purposes. Yeah.
Nobody, but
Being-
you know what? The Queen never stayed rarely stayed at Buckingham Palace for long
Yeah.
periods of time. She
No.
preferred to be at Balmoral.
Yeah.
Whereas the king's
Or Windsor.
where the king has always, even as the Prince of Wales, has always preferred Clarence House, and the the Prince and Princess of Wales now, Kate and William, are at Kensington Palace.
Yeah.
But
Which that's where
Balmoral
he
is
grew
in
up, right?
Scotland, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, the Queen was rarely in England. Well, not rarely. I shouldn't say that. She spent like 6 months out of the year probably in Scotland.
Yeah.
So, Buckingham Palace is old. I mean, have any of you guys been to Buckingham Palace?
I have not.
No.
It's old. Like it's huge, but it's just a kind of spooky looking castle. It's
Oh, wow.
It's not. I mean, to you
How
and
did
I,
they get AC in there though? That's what I want to know. How did they get air conditioning in there?
but I mean, a lot of parts need. A lot of the rooms are outdated.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm sure.
because
Like,
they're not used. You know, it's they have their quarters that they live in, but for the most part, 90% of the palace is never used. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't know. They don't spend a lot of time there. Obviously, all engagements are there, but it's not their homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the working palace, sort of.
I wouldn't want to. Like, I wouldn't want to live in it's too. I'll be too scared.
Well, most of their residences are old. Like Balmoral's old.
Yeah,
Windsor
I know.
Castle is old.
Right,
So,
but Buckingham Palace, they maintain it, and it has to look like. I mean, the furniture has to be a certain way. The
yeah,
wallpaper has to be a certain thing, way, to keep up with that,
yeah,
Whereas their own houses, like Clarence House, with Balmoral, Kensington Palace, they get to now
update.
make that their own,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They can. I mean, Kate and William can order furniture from IKEA if they want. I'm sure they don't,
yeah,
but you know what I mean. It can
yeah.
be their own, So
She, Mousy, Grace Kelly married a prince, you mean, right?
Grace Kelly married a prince.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
Prince
Albert.
Albert of
Yeah,
Monaco, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, what did you think of? Because I have to bring her up because I thought she was pretty badass. But her name is Penny Morrison, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
The one that
The
was carrying the
sword.
sword. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, for those of you who didn't see her, let's bring a picture up of her. I mean, there's so much. I mean, there was so much history in what was going on that I couldn't even recap it all for you. But I did look into this a little bit and still couldn't recap it for you very well. Let's see. Oh, Mordant, not Morrison. See, I don't even get her name right. All right. Let's pull one up here.
This nerd said
Yeah.
Harry's wing is now an Airbnb.
Where's a good one? Here we go. Here's a good one with the sword. Okay.
Apparently, that sword weighed. What was it?
8 pounds. 8 pounds.
Was it only 8 pounds? I
Yeah.
heard it was
Really?
much more
No.
than that.
Maybe it was 8 kilograms.
Hmm.
No,
But
not kilograms.
Oh, man.
It was 8
I heard
something.
it was like 35
Did I
pounds.
show the wrong one? It was heavy.
Something like that.
I know that.
Yeah, 8 pounds wouldn't be too heavy.
Yeah, it was.
I thought I heard it was about 30 something pounds. And she
Okay.
had to carry it for well over an hour and a half. And she said for months prior to the coronation, she was doing push-ups every single night, every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wait a minute. How did you get on this screen? Go away.
3 months free. All right.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. She had to go down. For those of you who didn't watch, she had to go down the procession with it, and then she had to stand off to. I guess she was off to Charles's right, if I'm remembering correctly. No, where's he sitting? He's sitting this way, and she's off to his.
And if anybody's been to Westminster Abbey, I've done that walk. It's a long, long walk.
So when did you go?
Have I been to England? I've been to England a few times. I also did my master's in London.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
So, but I've
Nice.
been to England a few times. I went with my family a couple of times growing up, and then when I graduated high school, a friend of mine did the Eurorail. Sorry, not the Euro Trail. The Eurorail. In the summer before we started university, and then we were in England just last summer with my family, like my own family now.
Yeah, remember that.
All my kids cared about was the Harry Potter Museum, but anyways, great. But
That's like the best part, right?
So,
but she's had to stand through the whole. In addition to walking down, she had to stand for the whole service, pretty much.
Carrying
holding
that.
this sword just like straight up and down.
Yeah, she couldn't she didn't move. It's not like you can. But I'm going to hold it this way now, and I'm going to hold it that way. No, exactly how you see her is how she had to stand. Yeah. I thought that was amazing. I also really like the diversity of the ceremony.
Yeah,
I love the choir that they brought in.
Yes, I wish I knew what they sang because I loved it.
Well, they sang Hallelujah.
They did?
Wasn't it Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah? Not the whole song, but parts of it.
I'd have to listen to it again because I didn't recognize it as that. Now, granted, I was dumb sleepy, but I will look that up again because the parts I heard, I didn't register as that. So
It sounded like parts of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounded like. But also, I had been up since 3 a.m., so
yeah,
I could have been
same.
I could have been hearing things.
And also,
In other words, we don't know because they were too tired to be listening.
Yeah.
To.
exactly.
I was sleeping, so I wouldn't have known either.
And I remember seeing pictures of this with Queen Elizabeth, and then watching it with Charles, this orb that they have to carry. All I could think of is if I had to do that, first of all, my hands are too small. I'd be like, there's no way I could do this. I would be dropping this thing.
The
Like, there's no
orb,
way.
Just put
Yeah.
it down.
the sword. Then you had the sword. It was the sword,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had the what's it called? The longer one. He had two.
The scepter.
The scepter. He had the orb. He had the scepter. He had the sword. He had the one glove. If
Yeah.
anybody follows Hans Thunder Nipples on Twitter, he's within the cage. He's like, you see him in chats and stuff like he's in the anti-cage
Thunder
community.
Nipples.
Yeah.
Wait,
He's
Thunder
so-
Nipples is a dude? I thought it was a chick.
I still think it might be just a chick trolling us, but Hans Thunder Nipples I think is a dude. He's in chats. He's been in the community, and if you ever see him in chats, you'll see him in
before.
AZ's chats and stuff like that. Come in. He's hilarious. But if you don't follow him on Twitter, you have to follow him on Twitter.
Okay.
But you also can't get offended by a lot. You can't be easily offended. But he put up something that's
Moist Thunder Nipples.
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, maybe
Hans-
that's who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Moist Thunder Nipples.
Yeah.
That's the same person.
Same person.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hans Moist Thunder Nipples.
yeah.
Oh.
That's it.
Yeah, I remember I used to hate having to type it because I'm always on my phone and I have to type to say hi to everybody. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to call you Thunder Nipples.
Yeah, he's hilarious. But anyways, he
Now that
posted.
word is in your phone. Thunder Nipples.
See if you can find his Twitter and put it up. He put up something like it was a meme or something like that where it said, "I'm sorry, Charles, but only Michael Jackson can pull off the one glove or something like that." He's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Or
Yeah,
golfers.
I thought that, I always thought it was a chick because of the way we talked and messed around in chats. But I was like, who knows?
Well, if you go by just their Twitter, you're going to believe it's a dude. And either way, male, female, I appreciate that person. They're hilarious. They are so funny. But again, if you're easily offended, do not follow their Twitter. Like there's a couple times, and there's a couple, at least once. There maybe not a couple times, but I mean there is one. I had to actually DM them, and I said, "Dude, you're gonna get your Twitter nuked for that one. You better be careful on that one."
I wonder how many times they've been into Twitter jail.
No, but I loved them. I don't think they have been. I don't think they have been. I don't know. But then I know a couple of people in the community that have been in Twitter jail for the most ridiculous things. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, Twitter has, well, I'm not on it anymore, but when I was, I got banned for stupid stuff.
How I have not been banned yet is unbelievable.
Wait, you've never been banned? Oh my goodness.
Never.
How?
Never.
Carly, you got banned? You?
Well, not banned, but jail. I was in jail for like,
I've never been in Twitter
Okay.
jail.
it was
I
like
have heard this
72
one.
hours for saying the C word. That's what they banned me for.
See you next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh my
I was like,
goodness.
have you seen your platform and what other people say? All right.
Yeah, it's
And also-
amazing how I've not been in Twitter jail. Amazing.
Oh my God.
What is this?
This is this
That's from Hans. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry,
Camilla in
Camilla.
like a negligee.
Yeah.
And smoking and drinking and saying,
Yeah.
like, but I'm
The
telling you,
F
if
that's
you don't,
over. Thank fuck
if
that's
you,
over. Oops, I said it.
I'm telling you, if you don't follow Hans on Twitter, you need to.
I did. I just did.
And if you don't have Twitter, you need to open up a Twitter just to follow Hans. That's it.
Okay.
You don't need to follow anybody else because everybody else is crazy around here. Like,
oh my. Maybe I should shut this down until we.
You should get off of there before you get
hilarious.
us
Hilarious. He's hilarious. They are hilarious. Find the glove one. Find the glove one.
Like, that is formerly known as Prince.
It was nice knowing you all. We lasted less than a year.
Oh, this one is funny. Like, I thought this was great. The artist formerly known as Prince. I thought that's funny, you know?
Yeah. I keep forgetting there's a lapse. Okay.
Hey, Jen. Ruben.
That's funny because it's true. Okay.
Oh, how Target shoppers look at people who shop at Walmart. Wait, did we get?
Oh,
are we at the same one?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's hilarious. Oh, they thought that he's saying that's Megan in disguise.
Yeah, that I had to stop on this one because lots of people in the pro or anti-Megan community were convinced that this was Megan who came in disguise.
Ridiculous.
I mean, come on. Come on. It looks a little bit like Captain Kangaroo, but it's not Megan.
Yeah, you're right. It does.
All right. Oh. Okay. Okay. Where's the glove?
Hey, Claire. Good to see you.
Oh, hey, Claire.
Hey, Claire.
Yeah, people get on Charles about these chubby fingers, and
you all know Camilla isn't, but going on to a different subject.
Does he get to be head now?
Is that Prince Charles and Ozzy Osbourne?
Okay, I don't know what he's doing there. Going through spare.
Oh,
yeah, Buddy's back.
What was that one with the Ozzy Osbourne one? It was funny. I can't remember. But what was it? Oh, he was trying to say that. Oh, read the Ozzy Osbourne one. It's actually pretty funny.
So Prince Charles, male, born in 1948, raised in the UK, married twice, lives in a castle, wealthy and famous. Ozzy Osbourne, male, born in 1948, raised in the UK, married twice, lives in a castle, wealthy and famous.
But read what he writes at the top. What it says at the top.
Yo, you never see these two in the same place at the same time.
But anyways, they really are funny. They are really funny. I like them a lot. And they don't get caught up in the drama and stuff like that. They will make,
what in the world?
Okay, here's the one. Only Michael Jackson could pull off the one glove look. And that's I didn't hear why we have the one glove. I'm not sure if he fell asleep at this point.
He probably did. It was past his.
I mean, it was a long
time.
service. He's not.
You know what? I may have missed it because halfway through the ceremony, I had to turn off CNN.
Yeah,
I couldn't listen.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay, I could, and I adore Anderson Cooper. I adore him, but I just couldn't with him that day at all.
It started for me before, they even got to the Westminster Abbey. You could hear them whispering in his ear. Like he kept going, well, there's George. And it was Louis. And you could hear them whispering in his ear. That's George. That one's George. I'm like,
And they're
How?
like, and he's like, "Where's George?" And he's like, "He's one of the page boys." And he's like, "Oh, he is."
Yeah. How do you not know that? How do you not prepare yourself at least enough for that?
Well, which goes back to the interview he did with Harry. There was no pushback from any of them because he
Right.
didn't prepare himself for the interview.
Right.
Because most of what Harry was saying was absolute lies. And had he have prepared, I mean, you have so many British uh, journalists working for CNN. You could have consulted with them prior, saying, "Listen, based on the book, you've all read it by now. Based on the stuff that they were saying,
No, I have not read it.
no,
I'm sorry.
they could have said, Anderson could have said to his co-workers, especially his UK co-workers, you know, he could have said, "You've read the book, you've watched the Netflix documentary or series, or
I
whatever you
couldn't
want to
sit through
call it.
that.
You've seen the Oprah interview. What were they not telling the truth about, or where were they misrepresenting things?" He did not prepare himself for that interview at all. He gave them no pushback. He just let Prince Harry say
Are we
whatever
talking
he
about
wanted.
the Hulu interview? The one that was on Hulu?
No,
Well,
That's
I
all.
think Anderson Cooper's was on CNN, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know there was one that they have on Hulu, and then they have like their documentary on Netflix, and then all that good stuff.
But it was awful. It was just awful. I couldn't listen to him anymore, and he kept bringing up Harry.
Yeah. He was a little obsessed with it.
Yeah, he was like, "Well, how do you think Harry is feeling right now?" And you can tell the other commentators, who were British, the CNN commentators, the journalists were like just kind of almost fed up with it. They're like, it's almost like, this is the King's Day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how Harry feels about anything.
Yeah. Like, Harry made this bed, so
yeah,
he will lie in it.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel? What do you think is going through Prince Harry's mind right now? I hope what's going through his mind right now is that, oh crap, I made a big mistake here.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, and I'm not alone in this opinion, I think that Meghan could always had to live in Catherine's shadow. That bothered her the most. That's been her biggest grievance, is Catherine is beloved, and Catherine will always. Okay, I'm going to say something that a lot of people may say, well, that's kind of harsh, but it's true. It's harsh, but it's true. Harry and his family, including his children, are constitutionally irrelevant to the line of succession.
Yeah.
They are not important. They're important. You're important as a family member. They're as family members, but to the monarchy, they are nothing. Like they don't, like, they're 5th, 6th, 7th in line. And then as the Wales's kids have kids, they're going to be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th in line until they no longer exist. Like they're no longer alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but the thing is, you're always like, nobody's going to come before anybody as far as a family member. You're all beloved family members. It's like you love your children the same.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit there and pretend my daughter's this great hockey player and she's never played hockey. Yeah. That's my son's thing.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to pretend that he's a great figure skater, because he's not, because he's never figure skated before in his life. She does, right?
But didn't you see that movie, The Cutting Edge?
Oh. Like, stop it. But do you know what I mean? And I think she hated the fact that she was always going to play, her and her family were always going to play second, third fiddle to the Waleses. Yes, as far as the monarchy goes, yes, you're always going to.
And see, the thing that bothers me about that is, look at Anne. Look at even Beatrice and Eugenie. You can either walk around with a giant chip on your shoulder and then end up a drug addict and somebody with really big problems, or Anne took it and ran with it. And
I don't think they care. That's because I don't think Anne cares. I think for the most part, and I think probably a lot of part, moments in Charles's life, he's like, I wish I wasn't born first.
Yeah.
That's a huge burden.
Yeah, but it is a burden. But the ones who are the spares, Anne ran with it. She made her life her own.
The hardest working royal
The
ever
hardest working
in
royal. She's
history.
loved
In history.
Yeah.
She does 200 engagements. She's 2 years younger than, so she'll be 73 this year?
Yeah.
If she's not already.
Yeah.
She does 200 engagements a year.
Yeah.
But once the one that shall not be named, that was born after Anne, after that, before they passed the new law.
Oh, Andrew?
So she became like,
she was fourth in line. Like every time a boy was born, she just got pushed back. It wasn't until Princess Charlotte was born. Kate had Princess Charlotte. The Queen now changed that. The law now became, it doesn't matter what your gender is. You like Charlotte, normally historically, George was heir, and then Charlotte would have been next in line. But once Louis was born, he would have superseded Charlotte now, just because he was a male and she was a female. That's no longer the case. It goes George, Charlotte, and Louis. So therefore, when Prince George has his own children, if his first child is a girl, then she is going to be queen. It doesn't matter if he has 7 sons afterwards.
Yeah.
If his first child is female, that she's going to be queen. Which I thought was great of the Queen to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially back in the day when wives were getting beheaded because they weren't producing heirs.
Yeah,
like sons.
Yeah, I mean, she was of age now. Well, this is true though. It's true though. Well, a lot of people say what Harry is doing is treason. If this was also back in the day, he would have ended up in the London Tower.
I can say the London Tower.
I keep suggesting that they put him there, so I think still for
it. and just like serve him 3 meals a day, just leave him there, and he's only allowed to come out an hour a day.
Yeah,
supervised,
which is I think is pretty much the way he's treated now, just in Montecito.
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Oh, no.
What's the point of coming over? You come over. You don't speak to anybody. I don't think anybody wanted to speak to him anyways, but that's not the point. You come over. You don't speak to anybody. You go to the coronation. You have a sour look on your face the entire time. Your father has just been crowned king, and when he walked past you, once the service was over and he was walking down the abbey, and he walks past you, and everybody curtsies now to the king, to the newly crowned king, even though he's being king since the moment his mother passed. He was officially crowned, anointed king. Yeah. And you saw as he was, now it was over and he was walking, to actually leave out of the abbey. As soon as he passed, everybody, Kate, Sophie, and whoever, Beatrice, Eugenie, they curtsied, and the men bowed their heads. He did not, as far as from what I remember.
Yeah, I think Belinda has it nailed it right on the head.
I don't
Look
see
what
the
I
comments.
did. Oh,
are you talking
martyrdom?
About Belinda Paul?
Yeah.
Hi, Belinda. I love Belinda.
What did she say? Martyrdom.
Hey,
look what I did.
What'd you do?
Look. No, that's in Harry's words.
Yeah.
Look what I did. I was so awesome to go. I'm such a good son that I went.
I even went on my son's birthday.
Yeah.
He barely got through the national to God Save the King.
Yeah.
Like what? At the end of it, when they
is it weird though now hearing that after hearing God Save the Queen for so long?
I think it's like when the year changes. Like from January to March, I'm still writing 2022, right? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm still I'm still typing 2023, right? I mean 2022, but then eventually you get used to it. I think the first two, few times that you and listen, they're not singing it often. I think the kids in school, I think they sing it every single day, so therefore they probably used to it. But I think after the first few, 2-3 times, you get used to saying the king. And I think everybody now is, before the anthem starts, they're saying, remember to say king, remember to say king, remember to say king, right? But he mumbled his way through it. Near the end, he just stopped singing altogether.
Yeah.
At the end, when he was crowned and everybody says, God save the king, he said not. He kept his mouth shut. He kept glaring at his brother. There was one point he was glaring at his niece, at his 8-year-old niece. It's like, what do you like? Why do you? And then he left. He went back to Buckingham Palace because he stayed there, got his stuff, got in the car, and went back and didn't talk to anybody. He was invited to the family lunch afterwards. He was invited to take photographs with the family. He did not. He didn't speak to anybody. He didn't see anybody. He didn't even congratulate his father.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
and then, by the way, he flies back to California, where it's probably 6:30, 7 o'clock when he gets there.
Later, 8:30. They worked out the flight. Somebody worked out because they would have known what flight he was on.
Yeah.
Because he actually took a commercial flight because they've been getting, like people
as they should be.
Yeah, because him and Meghan be going off about climate change while they jump on, private jets,
Yeah.
Like, so he took a commercial flight. Somebody figured out from the timing, the one and the flight that he would have been on, and that it landed around 8:30-ish something. Well, that's just it landing.
Yeah.
So much for the theory I had to get back for Archie's birthday.
There's no way that kid's partying
even
at 9. Yeah.
He's not even up at night. Like what?
Yeah.
What barely 4-year-old is up at that time?
Yeah. Not happening.
By the time he got out, still has to go through security, customs like everybody else.
Yeah.
Jumps in the car, your car, and then drives to Montecito. It's not that close.
No, it's not.
So.
Yeah. And then the next day she's hiking without him, and he's allegedly off playing polo.
Well, he was playing polo. It's funny that he had to be back for Archie's birthday this year, because on Archie's 3rd birthday last year, he was playing polo. There was pictures of him everywhere playing polo.
Yeah.
On his son's birthday. And I'm not saying your child's birthday is not important, but they don't know when you're celebrating their birthday.
No.
Right?
Especially not at that age.
But at any age, like even a 10-year-old, okay, your birthday falls on a Tuesday, but we're going to have your party on the weekend. Why? Yeah. Because you're in school.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
And sometimes you can't even have it the weekend following their birthday. They say that you should never celebrate birthdays prior to the birthday. It should always be like the weekend after. It's bad luck to. So I never did my kid's birthday before. Because I was always told,
had it after.
I was always told that it's bad luck to do it. You're almost jinxing it. I don't know. I've always been told it's bad luck. It's like, do you guys put an extra candle on your kid's birthday cake and then don't light that one? Because that one's for good luck, but you're not allowed to light it?
No, I've never done that.
Heard that.
My parents I don't know if it's just a European like an old wives' tale, but I always heard that. So I always do that too. I always, like, in the corner of their cake, will always put an extra candle, but you leave it unlit. It's supposed to be good luck for their next birthday, for them to see their next birthday, kind of thing. I know it sounds a little bit morbid, but but I don't know. I've always done that. But anyways, they always say don't celebrate before, celebrate after. Anyways, regardless of,
makes sense.
It's a king's your father's coronation. It's a once in a lifetime thing. Archie's going to have 90 birthdays if he has his father's genes. They all live very really long in that family.
Yeah. They love the attention, even though they say they don't. I think it's all about attention for them.
I don't know.
Hey,
So
we're
who
fast.
he didn't even like make a, because didn't some of them do like a talk, like a speech or something during the coronation? Like, I thought like William
No.
spoke, or did they talk
Oh,
to?
it was
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Grace.
no. I mean, you can probably give the more technical answer, but it was like a pledge, I guess,
Oh, okay.
a pledge of his service.
It's
To
like
his
a pledge
mother.
of allegiance. I pledge to be your liege man,
Yeah.
to honor you and to serve you. And that's what. But what? Okay, so traditionally, not only does the Prince of Wales do that, or the Princess of Wales. Like if the heir was a princess, then she would be doing that, right? But also all the dukes. So technically,
Oh.
Harry would have done that too. So all the dukes in the abbey would have also surrounded the king and also pledged their allegiance. William would have been the only one that would have knelt down, but I think I think everybody else would have knelt down on one knee too. All the dukes would have knelt down on one knee around him. Obviously, William would have been the only one in front of the king, the way he was, and they all would have pledged their service and their allegiance to him. They took that out.
Huh.
I think they didn't want. Okay, I think it was just probably a lot of the dukes weren't invited. The reason why is because they're not working royals. They only invited 2,000 guests, as opposed to the 5,000, 6,000, or 8,000. What was it?
Wow.
That the Queen had. They really slimmed it down, and out of those 2,000 guests, they about half of them were community people that like from charities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is why they didn't want, you expected it to be everybody in gowns, and all the kings and queens that were there from different countries would be there, and their tiaras and their crowns and stuff like that, and flashy jewelry and gowns. But they said, we're not going to do that, because we're not going to expect somebody from a charity to be spending money on gowns.
That's the reason they did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is a pretty decent thing to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah,
they
no.
removed that part of it. It was only William, so that's what William does. But as far as a toast, that's probably done at the
lunch.
The lunch, yeah.
That Harry's good.
Yeah.
That Harry's gift. If nothing else, I mean, if you're going to be jet lagged, think of the time difference. That's an 8-hour difference from California. If nothing else, at least get a free meal out of this, right?
Yeah.
Right? I would. Some good food too. You're eating with the king.
I'm still jet lagged. I'm hungry. Before I'm done on that plane, get me food. Or at least like text Kate and say, listen, sister-in-law, I'm really sorry, but can you just bring me a plate of food and we'll talk about it all later?
Yeah.
Like set me up. Like, and she probably still would have.
That's the only reason why I always liked family get-togethers. Like, no offense, but
for food.
For the food. Like, especially on my mom's side, because my mom's side can be really dramatic. So it's like, give me the food and I'm out of here. Thank you.
Now, Belinda brings up a point of William did do a speech at the coronation concert, which I have only seen little snippets of because
it was a great speech.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and it was only like a minute long. It wasn't a very long speech. It was a minute long, but it's worth watching, and it was really sweet. He brought up his grandmother.
Oh,
saying that that his grandmother would have been a very proud mother, and stuff like that. And it was a great speech. You got to remember, I feel that King Charles gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
But this is a guy that has committed his 70 years of his life to service.
Yes.
And this guy was talking about climate change in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember he was trying to do a lot of they were saying like modernize. Oh my goodness, I can't say the dang word. Make the monarch more modern.
Well, you have to, because the world changes, and the world's not going to wait for you to catch up, right? You have to.
Yeah.
He does have to be careful, though, that he doesn't slim it down too much.
Yeah.
because
then it loses, the monarchy loses its mystique.
Yes.
that, and there's a whole slew of them that are fixing to retire, and then he's and Andrew's out, and so then he's left with basically Kate and William, Sophie and Edward,
Which are
and
a great four to have. The
but
problem is the
there's-
kids.
yeah,
You
they're
have
not
that
old enough.
gap.
There's a
You have
gap.
you have that gap. So it's not just 18, and they're gonna, once they're teenagers, they're gonna be doing. No, they're actually in school afterwards, and they go to university. And George and Louis, if they choose to get in the military like their father does, then they serve a couple of years there.
Yeah,
Which they probably will, because that's what their father did. That's what their grandfather did. That's what their great grandfather did. That's part of their history.
Great grandfather did.
Yeah,
and
so
great
it
great
isn't
great.
until they're about, in their mid-20s when they start actually being working royals.
yeah,
I think that they need to get Sophie's kids.
yeah,
At least, not even like of course they're going to have their own lives, but say, listen, we don't even want to look at you guys to feel like you're obligated to be a working royal, but do events, get more of the younger ones out there. Zara and what's her husband's name?
Mike. Isn't that
Mike
Mike?
would be great out there.
Mhm.
They're hilarious. They're funny. They're modern.
Well, like
they,
even
they swear.
what's it called? Beatrice and
Eugene.
Well, I wouldn't put Eugenie out there, but
Yeah,
Beatrice would be amazing. And to even say it's not about money, like, listen, but I'm sure King Charles would. You don't necessarily get paid for it, but your lifestyle is being taken care of by Buckingham Palace, right?
Yeah.
And I think they would love to do it. I think Beatrice and Eugenia, even though I don't care for Eugenia very much because I don't like what she's done to Catherine over the years. Grace, did you ever remember that? Like, I think she was bitter. Remember the two sisters? They were always made fun of. People used to make fun of them the way they dressed.
Yeah,
That they weren't that attractive. I think Beatrice is gorgeous.
Yeah, she's really come into her own.
Yeah, I think she's gorgeous.
She looks exactly like her grandmother.
Yeah, I think when they were just young, they were more awkward, and then the dresses they chose and the hats they chose, they didn't really flatter them. But then I kind of think like they were almost trolling people. Is like they make fun of us. We're just going to kind of troll them now,
Yeah.
Wear the most ridiculous things because they're going to say the most ridiculous things about us anyways. So but I get it. They were princesses, but they probably felt how Harry claims to be feeling.
Yeah.
To Harry, and it was all about Diana's kid, Diana and Charles and William and Harry. So they always probably felt, like we've always played second fiddle to them.
Yeah.
So now they're natural born princesses. They were the granddaughters of the queen. So now Kate comes along and she's now not only a princess, but they have to curtsy to her.
Yeah.
So there was always this little resentment, a lot of resentment from Eugenie. There's this one, it was years ago. It was shortly after they were married where Eugenie steps down. I think they were at church or something like that. They all came out and Eugenie steps down to get into her car and she literally elbows Kate out of her way. Like Kate almost goes flying over. And Kate just kind of looks at her and she doesn't look back and say, "Oh, sorry," or something like that. It's just like there's been a lot of bad blood between the two of them. I think they're getting better now. But yeah, she hasn't been very nice to Catherine. I understand maybe, her resenting, listen, you've got my grandmother's attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I can't imagine it being super easy for Beatrice and Eugenie growing up and I love Fergie because she's full of life, but growing up as their kids probably wasn't the easiest thing in the world. Given the British press.
Yeah.
People were nasty to them and they were children and they were little girls and people were making fun of their looks and stuff like that, and that can't be nice. No. And then here comes Catherine into the family, and she's beautiful, and she's always well put together, you know, and the queen loves her, and everybody loves her, and everybody's saying she's the diamond of the family. I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. But you don't physically assault people on the way.
Right. Exactly.
You just don't do that either. Or jump on your cousin's, you know, Netflix documentary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though she didn't say anything, her appearing in there said a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What is Belinda saying? Because she always has.
She I highlighted she said that she doesn't think King Charles has been, or she thinks he's treated unfairly in her opinion, and she hopes that he'll speak up for the indigenous peoples and take steps forward towards healing.
I think if anybody is going to, it's going to be him, but I don't think it's going to finish with him. I think it's going to be really with William. I think he's going to get the ball rolling. I just think that he doesn't have the time.
Yeah.
When I say time, it's not like he's like, oh, I don't have time to do that today. I mean, he just doesn't have the time in his reign. I don't think it's going to be long. Who say that he's going to live to 96 like his mother?
I don't think he is. He doesn't look very. I don't want to say he looks sick, but he doesn't look.
He's just frailer at her.
Yes.
He looks much frailer at this age than she did at this age.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looked really frail during parts of the coronation.
I think he was nervous.
Yeah. It was probably hot with all those robes on.
Probably hot. Yeah. He was nervous. It was a very emotional, it's not a celebration. I mean, everything that comes afterwards, the pomp and like all the pomp and all that afterwards is a celebration, but it was an actual service, almost like a baptism. It was all which is why they anointed him privately behind those screens. You know, he takes off his shirt and everything.
But they didn't tie bells around his ankles, so I was a little bit surprised by that.
I didn't know that that's what they did.
No, well, you know,
is that a joke?
It's a joke.
Oh, sorry.
You know, when the high priest goes into the holies of holies and they tied the bell around his ankles, that in case he got struck, they would, you know, the bell stopped, they would drag him back out.
No, I know now. But I think Belinda's absolutely right. If anybody is going to do it, is going to be this king, and I think he will do it. I just don't think you're going to see all the heal. I mean, you're never going to have proper healing, but I mean, I don't think you're going to see a lot of that come into fruition until William's got to carry that on. Because I just don't think it's something that you can heal overnight. And when I say overnight, I just don't think it's something that you can repair 5 years from now and 10 years from now. I just think it's something that that the king has to start, and he has started it, and then William has to just take the baton afterwards and make sure that it doesn't stop. Yeah. And I know that's very important to Belinda.
Yeah, for sure.
And it should be to everybody.
Yeah, it should be. But I'm going to irk Cassandra here. I also think, for totally different reasons, that Camilla has been treated a bit unfairly.
Very unfairly.
Unfairly.
Is Cassandra not a fan?
No.
I don't think a lot of people are a fan of hers.
No.
I think... No, I'm not really much of a fan of Charles either, but I do feel he has been. As when you're younger, you just kind of go based off of what people talk about. But as you get older and start looking more into it and seeing that I felt he was treated unfairly.
Yeah, you see that everything was not how it was represented.
Yeah.
It was real easy. It was real easy to connect with with Princess Diana because she was younger. Remember, I think she was 20. He was 33 when they got married. Yeah. Everybody's got to remember that was an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
They barely knew one another, even up until the day they got married. It was an arranged marriage. by Prince Philip, not the Queen, more so.
Oh.
Well, I mean, the Queen was in on it too, but more so Prince Philip and her parents. Her parents. They were, and also he dated her. He used to date her sister Sarah,
sister, yeah.
which is kind of weird to me. It's like I imagine, like,
Yeah.
oh, like how do you marry the guy that your sister has slept with? It's kind of weird. But
Yeah.
anyways, but they handpicked Diana. You know, and he was in his 30s, and they were saying, okay, he was a playboy. Like Charles was the biggest playboy. He dated not only like socialites, but he dated actresses, he dated models, you know, throughout the 70s, you know, throughout the 60s and the 70s. He was like the
it guy.
The it guy. He was like the JFK Jr. of the 70s,
Yeah.
you know. Everybody wanted to marry the prince, you know?
Yeah, because you could become queen.
Yeah. And it was, okay, it's time to settle down. It's time to produce an heir. And they picked a younger woman, for, I guess, for reasons, you know, probably she, you know, for childbearing reasons. And it was an arranged marriage. They barely knew one another. They maybe saw each other maybe a handful of times prior to them getting married. I'm not saying what happened was okay.
No.
It wasn't. But Lady Diana, she was Lady Diana at the time, she knew about Camilla. She knew Camilla was the love of his life. He was the love of Camilla's life. The Queen and Prince Philip would not allow them to get married because that would make her a divorcee, because she would have had to have divorced her husband. Mm-hmm. And back then, you don't do that.
Mm-mm.
You don't do that. So, anyways.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about affairs, because she had like 3 or 4 before he even started again with Camilla in 86. So
yeah, she wasn't perfect. He wasn't perfect.
Neither one was perfect.
No, but Camilla to take all of the heat,
they were terrible. Yeah. Meghan complains about the papers being bad towards her, and they really weren't. No. If you really look at all the negative stories about Meghan and Harry,
it's after they left.
Even prior to that, it's because of stuff they were doing. Yeah. There was reports about her bullying the staff. Why did 19 people? Why did they have such a big turnover on staff? Why did 19 of their staff members quit consecutively? You know, then it was in the paper that there was talks about her bullying. They might have been negative stories, but they're negative stories based on your behavior.
Yeah.
You're sitting there preaching to the world about climate change and about emissions, and you know, your what's it called? Your carbon footprint, but then you're jumping on Elton John's plane to get to that speech that you're making. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then the press is running stories saying the hypocrisy of these people. Well, it's true. If you wanted the negative stories to stop, then stop giving them reasons to write negative stories.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what Camilla went through, what she went through was awful, and she kept her mouth shut.
Yep.
And she kept her mouth shut. Anyways, the way things turned out. Unfortunately, it was unfortunate what happened to Princess Diana.
Yeah.
But she died at the hands of a drunk driver. Drunk driver.
Right.
And that's it. In a completely different country. She was nowhere near England. She was in Paris. It was French paparazzi that was chasing them, but not even chasing them. They were trying to get a picture of her in her car at a red light, because they're on Vespas. Yeah. They weren't even in cars.
Yeah.
So your idiot driver got drunk at your expense because you and your new boyfriend invited him to join you for dinner. Yeah. You all get wasted. You all jump in the car with with an extremely intoxicated person. And none of you guys are wearing seat belts, and you're booking at 150 on a road.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people want to blame the British media, and they want to blame, a conspiracy. She was killed on purpose. Like, like that's not how it happened. People want to believe that's how it happened. That's not how it happened.
Nope.
It happens every single day. People die at the hands of drunk drivers every single day. And that's what unfortunately happened to her.
Yep.
They moved on in life. Eventually, Camilla and Charles got together. She has supported him. She's kept her mouth shut. The most vile things get said about her. She keeps her mouth shut. She doesn't complain. She goes about her duties.
Yep.
You don't have to love Camilla. I don't think I love her either.
No.
But I respect her.
Right.
And that's it.
Yep.
And that's it. She doesn't try to outshine him. She doesn't try to walk in front of him. She doesn't try to, take the spotlight away from him. She knows I am only here because he is king.
Yes.
It's my duty to stand beside him.
Yes, to support him.
And that's it. And that's what she does. Yeah. And nobody's more charitable than that woman.
Yeah. And she's, from what I've heard and read, she's apparently quite lovely and funny, and
that's what people say. Like, she swears. She's the first, she's she's got a potty mouth. She smokes. She makes offensive, when I say offensive jokes, I don't mean offending a group of people. I mean, she'll make crack dirty jokes.
Yeah.
She's very funny. She's very witty. She's very intelligent. All she does is read books. She's very laid back. She's just somebody that you would like to go and have a beer with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with Sean on the whole conspiracies. How the queen would never hurt Diana.
No.
No. And the Queen and Diana had actually a pretty decent relationship, contrary to what the papers wanted to write.
Yeah.
Because even when Diana was doing all the interviews and stuff like that, they would always ask her, "Do you support the monarchy?" She says, 100%. Of course, I believe in the monarchy. That is my children's future. And also, everybody's got to remember, prior to her dying, Diana and Prince Charles were became very close friends.
Yeah.
She had a house. She stayed at one of the castles when she was in England. So she was there often, and every morning they had coffee together. Almost every morning that she was there, in England, staying at Buckingham or whatever palace she was staying in, they had coffee together. And anytime she was making a big decision in her life, she always consulted with Charles. They were on very good terms. They just didn't work out as a marriage. She was 20 years old, for the love of God,
Yeah.
They just didn't work out, but they were actually quite good friends afterwards.
Yeah.
And who knows, they could have if they actually got to know each other before getting married.
Yeah, if they would have dated like how I dated my husband for 4 years before him and I got married, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I just think a lot of people have a lot of opinions about a lot of things, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I understand why they have those opinions, but I just don't think the full story has been presented to them.
No, I think a lot of people get their information from, a lot of people go off their feelings. Diana was beloved and she could do no wrong. And
She's a very flawed human being.
Yeah, and I get that based on how she was, kind of presented in the press, and people just never veered off their opinion from that. But, it generally is not what it seems on the surface level. So you got to look at the bigger picture.
Exactly. They were all flawed human beings, but Diana was also included in that, a very flawed human being.
Yeah.
So there was enough blame to go around everywhere. There's also a lot of if Diana was here, Diana should be the one being crowned queen. No, because if Diana was alive today, Diana would be invited and she would be in Westminster Abbey and she would be supporting this.
Yep.
If Diana had not passed, she still would not be crowned queen.
No, because they were divorced.
They were divorced. That's what people don't understand. They
That's
feel
why
like
people
Camilla.
why?
They feel like Camilla.
They
They feel like, oh, it's only because Diana's not here, Camilla's queen. No, they're divorced.
I agree, Belinda.
Yeah, that
It was
too.
they separated Charles and Camilla from the get-go, and nothing else would have worked out. I don't care how long he got to know Diana.
What? Sorry, I don't see her
Oh,
comment. What was
she
her comment?
says Charles loved Camilla. Oops, I just hit it. Charles loved Camilla, and marriage to anyone else was always doomed.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Also, Diana suffered from, she was young. There was obviously some mental health issues there. Plus, she had to deal with the paparazzi. Paparazzi were crazy in the 80s and the 90s. Crazy.
Yeah.
The paparazzis barely exist anymore. Why? Because there's social media. The celebrities put their own stuff out there. You know?
Yeah.
People aren't chasing the Kardashians around like they would have been 20 years ago. Why? Because the Kardashians are putting they don't stop.
They call the paparazzi
on themselves.
Exactly.
You know, and the paparazzis aren't making the money they used to. Like people that used to be paparazzis in the 80s and 90s aren't doing that anymore because it's not lucrative for them. They said, how am I going to make money on a picture that's already circulated all over social media?
Yeah.
Who am I going to sell it to? So, but Diana had a lot to contend with.
Yeah.
Like a lot to contend with. But you don't get upset with your husband because he's not paying attention to you that day because he's going to play polo and say, if you leave the house, I'm going to throw myself down the stairs while you're 7 months pregnant with Harry.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. That's manipulation.
Yeah.
That's emotional Anyways, people are probably going to hate me for this, but Diana was very emotionally manipulative. I'll just say that much. That's all.
Sounds like somebody else we know.
Oh, no.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of people we know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Meghan is worse.
Yeah.
Meghan is worse. And don't get me wrong, I adore Diana. I hate saying this about her, but this is who she was.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay. That's who she was.
Yeah. You just it's a no-win situation.
Yeah.
When your coping skills are lacking and I don't know, I'm not going to word this very well, but
I stopped caring about how I word things anymore.
Yeah, I just
don't care anymore.
When you don't have the proper coping skills and then you lay it on somebody else's shoulders, it's a no-win. I mean, I've gone through, how do I say it, training of my own, where, I've had to, not that I ever said I would throw myself down the stairs, but learning how to not make others responsible for my own feelings and what have you. So,
a lot of British commentators that were around with the Diana days saying that Harry inherited the worst parts of his mom. Because everybody has good things about them and the worst and bad things about them. They said, unfortunately, Harry, because they were all around, and they all remember the Diana days, and they're saying Harry inherited the worst parts of his mom. The victim. I'm the victim. Everybody's doing me wrong. There was 3 people in my marriage, but let's not talk about the 4 affairs I've had with married men where I was the 3rd person in their marriage.
Yeah.
Let's all not talk about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Harry's very much like that.
Yeah.
And what Meghan did, instead of coming into his life and said, you got to let that go. It's done. She fed it.
She turned the burner up on that one.
Yes, she fed it and said, "You're better than this. They take advantage of you. They don't appreciate you. You can go out on your own. We can go out on our own, and we can start our own American monarchy." Well, I remember the U.S. actually fighting a war, so you don't have to call people.
We're not into that.
Kings and queens. It's like nobody's gonna be, and
I
we're
mean, we
gonna
kind of love it from afar, but we don't want that.
yeah
Love it from afar,
yeah
but keep it over there.
Yeah.
So, like her wedding veil, like she had all the Commonwealth like crests and stuff on her veil, but then in her Netflix documentary she badmouths the Commonwealth and calls it what did she call it? What did she call the what did she call the
I
yeah,
didn't
monarchy? She
watch
called
it.
them
yeah, I didn't get all the way through it.
oh,
I
I can't
couldn't.
remember what she called them, something 2.0 or something like that.
Uh,
Anyway, she started bashing, like, anyways, it was just ridiculous. You don't do that. You don't do that, like,
no.
as a spouse. You support them. You get them out of that mind frame. You try to get them to see, like Grace said, the bigger picture and the better picture.
Yeah.
You know, like, and everybody forgets that William lost his mom too.
Yeah.
The difference is that William is what, 3 years older or something like that.
I don't.
He was old enough to see that both his parents were flawed.
Yeah.
He was old enough to see that it wasn't just his dad, it was also his mom. He was able to understand the relationship, the dynamic of that relationship, better than Harry was able to understand it as a, because he was younger. But I don't know. And I think that's the difference. That's the dichotomy between Kate and Meghan, whereas Kate's not trying to be Diana.
No.
She's somebody that just hopes that she brings the title of the Prince of, she makes her proud as the next Princess of Wales.
Yeah.
But she's not trying to be Diana.
And she seems like she tries to make the people around her better. And Meghan seems like she tries to make herself better at the expense of the people around her.
Always. She talks on top. If you listen to her podcast, the Archetypes podcast that she did on Spotify, she would have guests on, but for 20 minutes before she had her guests, she talked about, instead of talking about a guest, like you're having, I don't know, whoever you're having, she had Mariah Carey on, was one of her guests, I remember. I think it was one of the ones that I did watch, only because Meghan kept saying to her, how do you feel about people calling you a diva? Because I get that too. And Mariah turned around and said, well, you're a diva. And Meghan didn't like that very much. And she was like, what? What do you mean? And she's like, embrace it. It's okay. It's okay to be a diva. I'm a diva. Like Mariah's saying, yeah, I'm a diva. Absolutely, I'm a diva. But so are you, and it's okay. And then Meghan was like all but her, and she was like, oh, no, I'm not. She's like, yeah, you are, kind of thing. But anyways, that's the only reason why I listened to that one. It was hilarious. And she did not like that. She did not like that. But anyways, her podcast was less than an hour long, but she spent the first 20 minutes of just, instead of, okay, today we're talking to Mariah Carey, and there, you would think that you would spend a lot of that time talking about Mariah Carey, her life and, what she's been doing, what she has done, what she's doing now, maybe anything, charities that she's involved with, and, whatever, no, she talks about herself. She has them on for whoever on for 20 minutes. She talks on top of them. Anything that they say, she brings it back to herself.
Ugh.
And then spends the other 20 minutes closing the show talking about herself. It was awful. Megan's the type of person is that she has people around them not to lift them up. She uses them until she doesn't need them anymore.
Yuck.
And then she gets rid of them. She doesn't have any friends.
Yeah.
No. Well, what happened to all her friends?
She used them and got rid of them.
She used them and got rid of them, or they said, yeah, I'm done with her. She doesn't. She has a big family from her mother's side. None of them were invited to the wedding.
Wow.
She has no relationship with her father or her father's side of the family. She has no relationship with her mother's side of the family. And there's a big that's a big family, because you see pictures of her with her cousins from her mother's side, and growing up and her around cousins. Well, why weren't all those aunts and uncles and cousins invited to your wedding?
She didn't like the optics.
She didn't like the optics of it. Exactly. So she has no relationship with her father's side of her father or his side of the family. She has no relationship with. She has only a relationship with her mother. But anyways, that's a strange relationship. Anyways, we'll go to that afterwards. But she has no relationship with her mother's side of the family, and that there's a lot of people on her mother's side of the family. And now and then she was instrumental in Harry not having a relationship with any of his family. Who's the common denominator here?
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's diabolical.
It's weird about her relationship with her mother. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have a relationship with her mother, but it's weird that she has a relationship with her mother, but not her father, because her father is the one that raised her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doria left and took off for like 10 years.
Yep.
And Megan was raised by a single parent, which is her dad.
Who gave her everything.
Who gave her everything. He paid for her school. He paid for her apartment. He paid for her auditions. He paid for this class, and that class, everything. But then she ran into, I think, a lot of the reasons why she didn't want any family members there. I think the sister, which I'm not crazy about them running around talking either. But I believe what they're saying when Samantha says Megan didn't want any of the family there, because then the lies that she has been telling, not only Harry, but to the rest of she was afraid that the lies that she's been telling Harry and the rest of the royal family might come out. Yeah. Meaning, she says that she was so smart and she got into, she got all these scholarships, because she was so smart and stuff like that. It's not true. She didn't. Her father paid her entire tuition. She said this and that, and it was like, it wasn't true. It's not true. And people say that that's the reason she wanted none of her family there, is because she didn't want the lies that she was telling about herself. Like, I don't understand why you need to make yourself, it's better to, imagine meeting a prince and you just walking into the family, and instead of saying, oh, yeah, I did this and I did that and I have this and I have that, imagine what a breath of fresh air you'd be and said, listen, I came from pretty much nothing and I worked my ass off.
Yeah.
Think of the respect that, they would have for you. And she's an intelligent young lady.
Yeah.
She's not, she can have a conversation with these, like, I don't know. I don't understand why she pretended to be something else. Just be yourself.
It makes you wonder if she even is even in touch enough. I don't know. Then this is kind of harsh to say, but has she even lost touch with reality to the point that, does she believe her lies? And that's, but yet I know she's in touch with reality.
Well, you can't, I mean, she went to school with her dad signing the check for her tuition. She can't believe that these scholarships existed. She knows that they didn't exist, because at some point she had to have lied about that for the first time.
Right.
She had to cultivate that lie.
Right.
So how does she not know? I think she's just spent so much of her life just lying.
Yeah.
And
the web has to just keep getting bigger and bigger, or it all falls apart.
Yeah. And now it's before she had to be a little bit more cognizant of what she was saying, to make sure she didn't trip up or something like that. But I think she's just so used to, she's been telling the same lies for so long. I think it's almost like it's become a reality for her. It's like she's now living in this pretend world that she's created that is so far removed from reality, but it's the only reality that she's ever presented.
Yeah.
So it becomes almost real. Like, it's weird. It's weird. And I hate it. I don't want this to come off as let's dump on Megan. It's because that she's allowed this narrative out there, her and Harry. I'm not putting it on him, because I'm thinking I blame him more than her, because at the end of the day, that's your family.
Yep.
That's your family. You, of
Yep.
course, you support your wife, but at the same time, you can support your wife and support your family at the same time.
Yep. Yep.
Nobody, no, listen, unless your in-laws are absolutely horrible, have done absolutely horrible things, no spouse should ever make you choose between them and them and your family. No, never.
The only ones who do that regularly are, that's what and I'm not saying that she is this, but that's what an abuser does, is separate you away
They
from your
divide and
family and your friends.
conquer.
Yes.
They divide and conquer. Yes, that's what they do. Why? I don't know why. Because I think she wants to isolate him afterwards, that he'll never leave her. Because now he's like, well, this is all I have. Megan and the kids is all I have.
It's a control thing.
Yeah, it's a control. So this way, isolate him as much as possible, where I am, me and the kids are the only thing he has. So he it's almost like he's fearful of losing the only thing he has left afterwards.
Yeah.
So he'll never leave her, because there's no way that Harry has not picked up on the inconsistencies. Even in the Oprah interview, she comes and says, well, there was numerous conversations about the color of my child's, the potential color of my child's skin. Numerous conversations while I was pregnant. Harry comes back into the interview, and Oprah says, now she just told me about those numerous conversations that were going on while she was pregnant. And he's like, no, it happened one time while we were engaged. There's no way that he didn't stop in the car on the way home, say, why would you tell Oprah it was while you were pregnant and it was to numerous people or numerous conversations? There's no way that he's not picking up on her lies, unless he's in on the lies.
Yeah, it's well, and then also in the whose interview was this that he just did? It was on the Spare tour, and I can't remember who it was, when they talked to him about, can't remember who it was, but they asked him about that, and he said, no, she never said anybody was racist. She
absolutely did say it was racist.
Yeah, and he changed his whole story on that.
Which is worse, because if that was not your intention, if you didn't mean for it to come off that way, then you should have corrected the narrative right away. And you should have come out the next day and said, no, this is not, it was unconscious bias, or we don't believe it was said in maliciously or whatever. Instead, you let the narrative for 2.5 years out there linger. That the royal family was racist.
Yeah.
You let Prince Philip, you let the Queen die. Yeah. After 70 years of service.
Yeah.
That woman never put a foot wrong.
Yeah.
And she went to her deathbed with people believing, a lot of people, millions of people believing that she was a freaking racist.
Yeah. And so it wasn't just Meghan who said it, he said it too.
He said it too, but Meghan, even Oprah saying, so these were, or whatever. So these were racially charged comments or whatever. And Meghan said, if that's the way you want to put it, then I would not correct you, or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, she absolutely did say it.
Yeah.
And then he gets on, it was with Tom Bradley.
Okay. Yeah.
Was that the guy?
Yes. Yes.
And did you even see the look on his face?
Yeah. He was like,
what?
Did I smoke the crack today instead of you?
Yeah. And they're old schoolmates.
Yeah.
Actually, he was really good friends with William too. William, I imagine, is no longer speaking with the dude.
Yeah, I heard that there was a big fallout.
Yeah, I don't blame him. And especially with Tom Bradley being British himself, how did he not push back on him? I
don't know.
But then people want to say, the problem is if you say one thing wrong about Meghan, people say you're racist. No, I don't care.
No.
I'm not racist. I don't have a racist bone in my body. I never have, and nobody's ever going to tell me that I do.
Yeah,
that's it. That is the bottom line. I will never allow anybody to say that. It's her behavior. It's the thing she does. It's the manipulative. The stuff she does, the stuff she says
Yep.
is just, no, that's not okay.
Mm-mm. And we'd be calling out Catherine if it was Catherine doing the same thing.
I would call out
Yeah.
anybody who is doing that thing, including myself.
Yeah.
I'm my worst critic.
Yeah.
Like there's like anybody. It's just, anyways, it's the behavior. She does something, you speak on it, and you get attacked afterwards. You're racist. Well, how am I racist? Because she
Yeah.
does something. Here's the picture of her actually doing it. I'm saying what she is doing is shit. But then somehow I'm the bad person. Like I don't
Yeah.
mean me, but I'm just
Yeah.
speaking generally. You know, the person
Yeah.
gets attacked afterwards. It's like, and the problem with that becomes a deflection.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
deflection. So you don't. So you're no longer. So it's to deflect from what she did. So let's not draw any more attention to the crappy thing that she did. And let's now accuse you of all these things. So that's where the conversation is now. So now Megan's forgotten about, you know?
it's like I say, and this may piss some people off, and we're down to 6 viewers, so there's only 6 to piss off. If anybody, comes back with their opinion on something, and the only thing that you can come back with, and this is, I don't mean this in every situation, so hopefully this makes a little bit sense. If the only thing that you can instantly come back with is you're racist, not even that's racist, but you're racist, you're homophobic, you're a this, you're a that. To me, it's just an ad hominem attack. That means you have nothing left to come back with.
There's nothing you cannot contribute to the argument. You know,
give me a rational talking point, not
exactly.
you're
When
this.
when you're having a disagreement with somebody and somebody comes, their response is, well, you're a idiot, or you're this, you're that. Okay, well, if your only response to me is calling me names, therefore you don't have an argument.
You have nothing left.
You haven't. Yeah, that's it. You've lost the argument.
Yeah. So I've learned to kind of take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. Now, if you say it's racist, okay, tell me why.
Yes.
So
you can't say you want to have the conversations need to be had. Let's have them. But if you start casting aspersions on people are afraid to have those conversations afterwards, right? Because they're afraid to have the conversations because they're afraid of people accusing them of being this or accusing them of being that.
Yeah.
So the conversations are never had afterwards.
Yeah.
But everybody wants a conversation.
Yeah.
But everybody shuts down the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. There's we can go a whole another 2 hours on this.
But anyways, I just wanted to just make clear for whoever's left here, it's not about Megan's skin color, because Megan is, listen, my parents are Greek, both of them. So my dad was more olivey colored. My mom's like white, like white, like snow white, blonde, green-eyed. You wouldn't think that she was from Greece, but I got more my dad's not as dark as my dad, but I have that European. I have more of a little bit of an olivey color. I'm darker than Megan. Like when I say, I didn't know, like honestly, until
I had no
idea.
No idea. When I saw their engagement, I didn't even know that they were dating. The first time I saw them together was when they had that engagement interview. I looked at her and I thought maybe she was of like almost like a Lebanese Armenian descent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, almost like like a Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It wasn't until afterwards that I found out. And also she's been on all her job applications and stuff like that, and her, like the celebrity, the casting cards,
Mm-hmm.
where they have the person's picture. She marks off Caucasian.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough one, because when you realize that she is biracial, then you and I look at her features and I go, oh, okay, now I see it. But prior to that, I wouldn't have guessed that. So, but I will say she is heavy-handed on the self-tanner now more than she used to be. And I don't like, I'm not giving her any shade for that, but look at her hands and look at her neck and face. It's obvious.
Look at Claire's. Is this Claire's old comment or a newer comment?
No, that's this
That's
one.
new.
Is it recent?
She just
Yeah,
put that
she
up.
just
Yeah.
put it in there.
Exactly. I have said this forever. If you won't listen to both sides and try to understand both sides, you have no argument, period. Yes, she's right.
Yep.
She's right.
Yep.
And the thing is, we've all now. I don't know what Claire is pertaining to, what it's pertaining to exactly. But as far as we know, we've only heard Harry and Meghan's side of the story.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anybody else's side of the story.
And probably won't hear much of anybody's side.
And that's also why I think they keep going on and going on and on, and they keep the lies, they keep pushing and pushing and pushing further, because they know that the monarchy will not respond. That's not what they do.
Right.
They don't respond. They're more of a, don't give it any more oxygen than it already is. No matter, I'm sure they're all like, all of them are just fuming just to say something. But they know this is not what we do. The Queen was right when she says the royal family do not sit in a witness box.
Mm-mm.
That's not what we do. We don't follow the tabloids into the gutter. You don't complain and you don't explain, and that's it. But that enables Harry and Meghan to just say to just say more things and push the envelope a little bit more, knowing that the family is not going to respond.
Yeah.
So now you only have Harry and Meghan's truth, or what do they call it? My truth. I can't stand when I'm done with people
I
saying
hate that. Yeah.
Because there's no such thing as my truth, your truth. There is the truth.
Exactly.
There is the truth. Yeah. Either something happened or it didn't. Either something was said or it wasn't. Either the sky is blue or it's not.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no like the sky is blue, but I think it's purple and you think it's red. Oh, and then my excuse is, well, that's my truth. Okay, that's your truth, but it doesn't make it the truth.
Yeah.
Like I just can't listen to this. I'm living my truth. No.
Yeah, I'm so. Oh, that just makes my skin crawl.
It's just no. There's just truth. The truth is truth. You know, it either happened or it didn't. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Did you guys have any favorite parts of the coronation?
Let's see.
Everything. It actually pertains to everything. Yeah. I just didn't know, Claire. I just didn't know at what part you made that. Was there something specific that I said, or maybe something that we said on here which is what prompted you to say to make that to say that. So I would have just addressed it if that was the case. That's why I was asking if it was anything in particular. But
I can't really pick for myself. Can't really pick a favorite part of it. It's just all of it is so. It was moving. I'm not British. I'm not obviously part of the Commonwealth, but it's moving to see. It was somber, but it wasn't sad, if that makes sense. That's another thing Anderson Cooper kept doing, is he kept saying, oh, doesn't he look sad? Doesn't this, he kept trying to make it this sad thing.
No, it was a very serious thing, right?
Yeah, it was very serious, but it's not sad. And I just loved, I don't know. I just thought it was great.
I love the kids.
Yeah, the kids. Oh, the kids were awesome.
Kids. Even watching Charlotte holding Louis' hand behind her
Yes.
parents,
She
just
is like such a, like an adult in a kid's body.
yeah.
She is.
And I just look at them and I say, I hope they bring that relationship into their adult life and it
Yeah.
stays like that forever.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, monarch, no monarch, your parents one day will no longer be there. Obviously, your grandparents will no longer be there. And your siblings is all you have as far as your family, not the family that you have afterwards, but, you know, of who you are. It's just you and your siblings afterwards. That's all you got, right? I always
Yep.
say to my kids, I said, you better stop that because that's one day you two are going to be the only two, like it's just you guys. You're all each other will have afterwards when we're all gone.
I think looking at the Middleton kids and their relationships, I think that they'll be raised that way. I hope. So I think that they'll be
I
pretty
think they
close.
will, and I feel
Yeah.
sorry, and I feel really sad for Harry's and
Yeah.
Meghan's kids. I said this on Twitter the other day. They're being raised by two narcissists.
Yes, they are.
And sadly for the kids,
Being raised by one is hard enough, but two?
and I think they're going to be raised feeling like they were also slighted.
Yes.
Like I await the day that Archie and Lilibet will write a book about the Wales as kids, saying that about the way we were treated by Charlotte, Louis, and George, even though they probably will never meet them.
Yeah.
From the looks of it, you know what I'm saying? Because they're being raised to think that you've been slighted in life.
Yeah.
And it's because of them. Or they're going to grow up and resent their parents. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
They resent their parents. You want the titles. Oh, I want my kids to be princess.
They're not going to know any of their family except
but I
Gloria.
won't bring them to visit with the man that has allotted them those titles.
Yeah.
Anyways, I can go. I can't with her anymore. I can't.
Yeah.
Can't. This has got to be the last. There's no more Megan streams. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
No worries.
Because I feel horrible. I feel like I'm coming off as I'm just being terrible to her. But I honestly think she's some horrible human being. I really do. I just think she's awful.
I can't say I disagree.
And it's been at the expense of everybody else. It's just, she didn't lose anything in this. She's just gained. And everybody else has just lost. People have lost a brother. They've lost an uncle. They've lost a son. He has lost his father after already losing his mother, a brother, a relationship with his niece and nephews, his sister-in-law, who was like the sister everybody else is lost in this scenario except for Meghan.
Yeah. Well, she just hasn't realized it yet, but I think the older she gets, perhaps she will realize that cutting out everybody in your family except one person, she'll start feeling that loss at some point.
Yeah.
She'll feel the loss when Harry leaves her, because I think that a divorce is inevitable between those
I do
two.
too. Yeah.
Or I think maybe she might leave him.
Yeah. I think
she's got the titles.
Yeah.
She's got the titles. She's got the kids. She's got the heirs, even though they're not heirs. Like I said, Harry's kids, come at me all you want, but Harry's children are constitutionally irrelevant to the monarchy.
Yep.
They're of no relevance when it comes to the line of succession.
Yep.
So there was really no need for those titles, because in the United States, people aren't going to run around in school calling them prince and princess.
No, they're not.
No, they will not.
I really hope she doesn't try to push that agenda.
Well, then she's pushing her kids to get bullied.
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
But I mean, what's the point of having those titles if
they
really mean nothing?
Nobody shit here.
I can't with her anymore. I can't. I could sit for hours with her about her, but I can't, because I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. That's it. No more Meghan streams. You cannot. We're never talking about the royal family again.
All right. Well,
but are you going to be on for our roast of the
fashion roast?
Yeah, the fashion roast.
It's going to be an interesting roast, because British fashion is definitely different from
so
American.
So different because they'll have like a nice dress, but then they'll ruin it with a really ugly hat.
Yeah.
But then they'll have a really nice hat and they'll ruin it with the dress, or they'll wear the wrong pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Like it's just
or like a hideous
And
purse.
as much as I love Camilla, I really want somebody to tailor her better. Like tuck it in just a little bit more. She always looks like she's wearing a size too big.
She probably is.
Yeah, she probably is.
Because she's hiding the,
Yeah.
She's hiding the things that now go south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, come on. You could just tuck it in at the waist a little bit more.
Or do what I did. Just be proactive about it.
Yeah.
I looked at I was at my mom's one day and I was watching her. We were going somewhere and she was getting changed. And I looked and I said, hell no, never. They were down to her waist. And she's like, I have 3 kids. What do you expect? And I'm like, okay, stop. I've had 2. Okay, whatever. She's like, I don't, like, and I went to a doctor and I said, lift them.
Lift them up.
Lift them. They're mine. They're all mine. I had nothing put in. They're all mine. I just said, lift them. Like, how far? I said, up to my chin, like when I was 18. Lift them. And they gave me a 25-year shelf life. And I'm like, okay.
All right.
Because by the time that 25 years is over, I'm not going to care at that point.
Yeah.
So I think she wears a size too big because she's probably hiding everything that's now gone south that used to be, like used to be a little bit north. But she could also just do what I did, and that's it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, yes, they have bras for that too.
Yeah, they
push them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then just to listen. What I saw, I'm like, no. I'm like, Mom, but they're at your waist, and she's like, I don't care. It's so funny.
Oh my goodness!
Like she was blaming she was blaming my sisters and I, and she's right. She's like, I had 3 kids, whatever, But I'm like, nope, like,
well, you shouldn't start dancing in front of you.
Oh my goodness.
My mom, no. Oh my God. But then I was like, yeah, you have bras. Yes, there's bras. But then what about when you take the bra off?
Yeah.
And you're like lying, and your husband's right beside you, and then like one goes this way and the other one goes this way. You know what I'm like? I just said I'm going to be proactive before he notices. Or like, I don't know. I just said, whatever, just do it. And that's what I did. I did that in 2015. So I got another, I don't know, I got a couple more decades on it. So
got a lot more mileage.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I need to, I'm still young right now though, but maybe I should be proactive. I only have 1 kid though, but still.
Gravity's coming for you, Cass.
Mine were pretty good still. I just said I just want them to stay there. I don't want them to move. Just put them up a little bit more, and then that's it. And okay, so I got it done October of 2015, and then May. Oh my God, they said to me, "It's." I don't know if you know anybody who's had actually like breast implants, which I do. My older sister did. She had nothing. Like she had nothing, and she had them done back in 2004. It was funny. I put extensions in my hair one time because I just found I kept cutting my hair because I felt my hair kept breaking. And then I just felt my hair wasn't growing, and then I put extensions, and she looked at me. She goes, "Why don't you just grow like your hair like every other person?" I said, "Why didn't you grow your own boobs like every other person?" But anyways, whatever. And I remember my sister being in a lot of pain.
Oh wow!
When she had it done, the doctor told me, he said the recovery is far worse for a lift as opposed to an actual implant.
Oh wow!
Boy, was he not just kidding. For 6 weeks, it was 6 weeks. I kept saying, "This is the worst thing I'd ever did. This is the worst thing. This was the dumbest thing I've ever done." After that, it was like, "This is the best thing I ever done. This is the best thing." Because I had it done in the fall of 2015, and then come the spring of 2016, I went on a girls' trip with my friends to the Bahamas. We just did like a 4-day, like a 4-night, 5-day kind of girls' getaway, and I was wearing a sun, like it was the first night when we got there. We got there late. It was raining. It actually ended up raining for the entire time we were there, but we didn't know that. Anyways, and we just all just congregated in one person's room, and I had like almost like a nightshirt on, and it was like a tank. And my friend looked at me and said, "Do you have a bra on?" I said, "No." And they said, "Wow." So they're just sitting there like that. I'm like, "Yep, I told you. I told you." Because they were like, "You're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy." And I'm like, "Nope, it's the best thing I ever did." And she's like, "Wow, they look great. I never noticed." And anyways, I don't know how we got here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure either, actually.
I think Carly fell asleep.
I think she fell
No,
asleep a long time ago.
I'm
Yeah.
here. It's talking about boobs. I'm here.
Oh, Carly's actually heard, I think she's heard this story in Discord. I may have told her the story in Discord. But anyways, I don't know how we went from Camila's clothes to this, but we sure did. Here we are. Anyways, I should let you go.
It's fun though.
Yeah, so,
That's
Yeah.
fun.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
think we're
been the 2-hour mark, but I don't know if there's any last minute things to discuss on the coronation.
There's no,
I
The-
think we
The
got
king,
most of
he
it.
became king. That's it.
we're done.
Yeah.
Charles became king. So he's Charles, King
Charles
Charles
III.
III.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go. And that is that.
That is
You can
that.
watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if we can get if the concert is on YouTube, because
Yeah.
Did you watch the concert?
no, because you had to go on to BBC and I didn't fiddle with my VPN and do all
BBC.
I've
that.
seen a lot of videos on the like performances. I don't know if there's one long video that covers the
All of
entire
it.
concert from start to finish. I'm not
Mhm.
sure, but I've seen like parts of the. Anyways,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, but thank
I'll
you
look
for
for
having
it.
me. I'm sorry I've
Yeah,
derailed
thanks.
this.
No,
stream
Oh,
you're
no, it's
fine.
fun.
Thank you.
No.
And you're more than welcome to come back next week if you want to.
Yeah, if you want to
Do
join
the-
us on
And
the
I
road.
fashion.
apologize to anybody. I'm sorry if you did not like anything. I understand it. I totally understand it.
We never apologize for what we say here. In the
I-
words of Claire, the butt hurt need not apply.
Right.
So
I just, but also like Claire says, the whole story needs to be presented, not just bits and parts, not just the parts that we like. If
Yep.
only
Right.
life was like that, right?
right.
You know, but it's just everybody. They all suck. They all
Yes.
suck.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all
They-
suck. Everybody
all-
sucks.
They all suck
Yes.
except for Charlotte and George and Louis. They all
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah.
Anyways,
then-
but thank. Sorry, go ahead.
And
I was
Louis.
just-
Louis doesn't suck. Louis
Yeah.
gives me life. Yeah.
And Charlotte, Princess Charlotte's really, she's
Yeah.
cute.
All the adults suck though, except for
Yes.
all the children are great, but all the adults suck. They're
For
all
sure.
flawed. We're all flawed. All of
That's
us.
right.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Mousie's
Yeah, but
inviting
thank you.
everybody to see her shorts, not her skivvies, but her YouTube shorts.
Oh, I was like, what?
And, yeah. So go
What's
see
her
that.
channel?
It is. She has it in the. I'll put it
Hey,
there.
Mousy, drop your channel.
Y'all
She
come see
did.
my Sea Monkey shorts.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sea
never
Monkey's
mind.
shorts and new coming soon. Okay, what does she cover? You know what? I have to
Sea
say,
monkeys.
does Claire
Sea monkey.
does Claire still do the true crime stuff?
She
Yeah,
does.
she just did one today.
Is she still covering like older cases? Sometimes I need to.
Sometimes it's mainly right now she's doing like the trial updates with like the Masterson, and I know they just finish the Stouch. But yeah, she's doing like more of the updates on like what's
Current
going on
trials.
today. Yeah,
Yeah.
current trials. I'm
Oh.
pretty sure if you suggest anything, she's down to look into it.
Right. Yeah, Clara's always good with that, with making suggestions and talking about it. I always enjoy those streams. I need to start watching. I need to just stop watching the drama. The drama. Oh my god, the drama.
And
Oh.
it's blown up again.
That's a whole
Oh.
different stream. I'm happy to come on that stream. Oh my,
Oh no.
or maybe not. I'm just like, whatever, you're all crazy.
Yep. Yeah. Wicked Pickle posted something. What did she say? It made me laugh. What did she post?
What did she posted on Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah. Oh, it's probably going to take me too long to find it.
Yeah, Claire's hit me up. I can try to keep you drama free. Claire's been really good about, especially in the last year. And I know we made it, and I am guilty of that. Part of that, we made it difficult for Claire, but she's really just said she stays out of the drama. She's really, really good because she could have easily gotten sucked back into it. It's really easy to get sucked into, and Claire's pretty good at just staying out of it.
Yep. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So the Wicked Pickle posted, I think y'all are insane. And then her little picture says, this entire platform can eat my nuts.
Well,
and I had to like that because it's true.
Oh yeah, thank you, Juju, for dropping Claire's link. I don't go and chat when I'm on StreamYards to drop it myself.
Well, she also wrote something else. I can't remember where she wrote it. I don't know if it was in Discord or something. She also wrote, if I die and any creator tries to use my death as content, just tell them all I hated you all. Make sure you tell them I hated you all.
I missed that one.
Funny. I just saw it like this morning. I can't remember. We were having a conversation. I don't know where it was. Where was it? I think it was in Discord or something like that. But oh, there's stuff I need to tell you guys. I need to tell you guys a secret stuff. I'll tell you guys.
Okay.
Grace, I'll hit you up in a DM. Then you can tell
Okay. And just a reminder to everybody, we're going to put it up on a community post. Starting next week, we're moving to Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yay. We decided to move to Thursdays, just better for scheduling, for personal in real life stuff.
Yep. So, yep. Well, all right then.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys
so much.
having chat. Thank you for listening. Again,
Yep.
I apologize.
No,
I
You're
apologize.
fine. No.
We'll have to
chat.
think of
No
other
sorries.
reasons to have you come on too.
Besides
Sister Wives, but
that was
other things.
Thinks maybe I was a little bit too harsh on certain people. I'm sorry.
No, you're
good.
good.
It's just a lot. Okay, have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you for having me.
Good night.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Here we go.
Bye.
Bye.
Harder.